Hi, this is Chloe from Inner Whispers. I went on a little bit of a clickety spree after the last UK Tarot conference, and one of the decks that I was tempted into was the Thelema Tarot, which my good friend Lisa Eddy bought at the conference. She got the last or the only deck that they had there, and I've been waiting now for about 3 weeks to get my copy because Amazon didn't have it in stock, and so I actually got this direct from Lo Scarabeo. So let's dive in and have a look. So it has the Star card on the back and the Empress on the front, and it's a very solid box. This is pretty much the packaging that the Tarot Mucha came in as well, I think. And if we have a look at the book, that's the High Priestess card on the front, and it's, wow, got colour images and colour pages. It is still in 5 languages though, so the little white book is still not going to give you a huge amount of information. But that being said, as I skip through it, there is a decent amount. I think they've done less in the other languages. Yeah, they've got it sort of abbreviated, but the English bit, there's quite a lot for each card. So a lot better than your traditional little white book from Lo Scarabeo. As for the cards, I have to get into those. So we have a couple of, they're quite shiny, so I'll have to work around that. A couple of extra cards, one at the front, one at the back. Get rid of those. And here we are with the deck itself. So this is a quite traditional Rider-Waite deck, as far as I can tell. I'm really liking the colours as soon as we set out. The images are sort of photos, I guess, within the artwork, but it's very nicely done. They look almost natural. And the people, oh, loving that death card. I can see why Lisa has been raving about this. Very hunky devil. The images are very beautifully put together, and the colours are fabulous. I quite like here we have a seeker in a dark cape, which echoes the death card in some ways, and we have the birds flying around the moon, and there are little Anubis type statues to the sides as well, rather than the dog and the wolf. So some interesting symbolism. Astrological signs around the sun, and it looks like a flower blossoming on the inside. Some really beautiful images and a very wide colour palette. Nicely done. It has a little bit of a feel like the Gilded Tarot in some ways. It's more obviously a photographic collage deck than Chiro's artwork, which is very detailed. Yet I do think that it works very beautifully. It is very traditional Rider-Waite, and yet with some lovely touches. I like this little swan family in the Ten of Cups. There's definitely a magical feel to it, as well as it being playful. I can see straight away it's going to be very easy to read, and I really like this Four of Pentacles. It kind of has a combination of the Druid craft, that idea of a box full of things, yet also she's outside. There's the same sense of a city in the background as you have in the traditional Rider-Waite, but it's a woman here instead of a man, and the idea of having the key to your treasures, perhaps hiding them. There's still that idea of stagnation and holding on. You know, if you have treasure buried in a box, then you're not having the flow of money and life. But it doesn't feel quite as negative, perhaps, as some takes on this, which is nice because I like to be able to read cards in both the positive and the negative. There are times when it's good to hoard your resources, and other times, of course, when that causes stagnation. I'm a little disappointed there aren't two people on the Five of Pentacles. That's always my preference in a deck. But yes, there are some really beautiful images. Kind of medieval feel to the costume in a lot of cases. And it's very elegant. Oh, this is a little bizarre. She looks almost see-through. You can see the steps through her dress. That's an interesting choice. The court cards have a similar feel within each of the suits, similar colouring, and kind of the backdrop gives them the cohesive feel, and plenty of symbolism there to dig your teeth into. I like the bird flying up. There's quite a lot of birds in this deck, and that's something that appeals to me as messengers of spirit and as creatures that get a different perspective on life. The ones are almost pip-like, I was going to say. You know, like here we don't actually have any people, the same in the Four. And more birds. Swift messages, that's a good one. The colouring for the suits really works well. The blues for the cups, the greens for the pentacles, and now this kind of fiery red and orange for the wands. And here with the swords, oh, that's a lovely version of the Two of Swords. I like the moon behind her, about trusting your intuition as well as those thoughts that are going through your head. The position of the swords is somewhat odd. I shall have to have a think about that one. A beautiful Three of Swords, that works really well, I think. It has the idea of rain, and we don't have a heart, but a rose, a red rose for passion, which looks almost like it's bleeding with the petals falling down. A meditating guy for the Four of Swords. Yep, this all works very well for me, I have to say, other than that Five of Pentacles with only one person on it. For the rest, I'm really liking this as a very attractive and yet symbolic, nicely symbolic version of a very much Rider-Waite based deck. So I'll look forward to getting on with some readings with this. Butterflies and a hawk of some kind. Lovely. So those are the cards from the Thelema Tarot, and look out for readings with them on my channel soon.